local news leader. This is PAS-PA2.
I'm Renee Allen. Good morning to you. New developments in the disappearance of missing Scott woman Ella Goody. A person of interest is now in custody. Authorities arrested him Friday afternoon in Missouri. It's believed Brandon Francisco was the last person who came in contact with Goody before she disappeared on March 9th. He had a warrant out of Rapides Parish for failing to appear in court. That's the same day Goody was last seen. News 10 Britt LaFaso tells us how her family and community are reacting to the arrest.
People close to Ella Goody say though this person of interest has been found, Ella is still missing, and this arrest is only further motivating the community to find her.
Can you share this with people, please? Trying to find Ella. She's been missing since March the 9th.
Hello, help find Miss Ella. Volunteers spent hours Friday afternoon handing out flyers to the community, making sure people know that Ella is still missing.
Hello. Hey, help find Miss Ella.
Sometimes it takes a village, sometimes it takes a community to protect each other. And while we may not know her personally, but she could be our daughter, she could be our sister, she could be our mother.
John Melton, Bishop of the Amani Temple African American Catholic Congregation, is part of one of many organizations in Acadiana helping in this search.
And since this information has surfaced about her disappearance and the suspicious circumstance of her disappearance, we believe that all of us, the whole community, should be alert and aware and conscious, because who knows? No one knows who might get information.
The Village 337, a Lafayette civil rights group, also doing what they can to bring Ella home.
We are still hopeful, of course, that Ella is alive, and that is the #1 goal and focus, is to make sure that we find her alive and well. Initially, our mode was to find him.
Devon Norman with the Village 337 says now that the person last seen with Ella has been found and arrested, the FBI, who became involved in the case last week, can learn more about Ella's last whereabouts. They hope this will give them a better idea of where to search.
The family is now ready to start search efforts of their own. And so that is kind of the focus now, where we will begin to, as more information comes out from the arrest, hopefully we will be able to begin search efforts for Ella in specific locations that we know he traveled, because that will be an indicator of where we believe she may have traveled as well.
You can find out how to help out with the search for Ella Goody on our website at klfy.com. Reporting in Lafayette, Britt LaFaso, KLFY News 10.
Then, very quickly for you, a shooting in Crawley. Crawley PD says the details are sketchy for us, but it happened just after midnight. They were on the scene of a shooting in the 700 block of West 10th Street. We're told 3 male victims were shot. They're also transported to local hospitals with unknown injuries. Crawley PD says they'll provide more information as it becomes available to them. Phone scams are on the rise nationwide. However, a new trend hitting the cell towers is phony law enforcement scams. The St. Landry Parish Sheriff's Office is warning the public of a current phone scam, and again, is hitting the parish, in which the scammer is posing as a member of local law enforcement. Sheriff Bobby Guidro says the scam claims they have a warrant for the recipient's arrest, demanding money in exchange for resolving that warrant. The sheriff wants the public to know that's not how his office normally does business.
I mean, some people are so scared, they're not familiar with law enforcement procedures, and they don't know what else to do, and they certainly don't want to go to jail. So they'll sometimes submit and send a check or money order or whatever means of payment the scammer is requesting. That happens, unfortunately, quite a bit.
Sheriff Guidro says if you receive a call from law enforcement or any government agency phone number demanding money, immediately hang up and call your local law enforcement to get more answers about that. The state legislature is considering a bill that would sentence parents to death if they convicted of killing their children. The state representative Barbara Carter brought the bill to committee this week, speaking about the death of 2-year-old Nevaeh Allen last year. Her mom is accused of beating the child before her boyfriend buried her in the woods. State law already dictates that anyone convicted of killing someone under the age of 12 can get the death penalty. This bill would expand that to parents who killed their kids as old as 18. The bill passed committee. It heads to the full House for more debate. Meanwhile, people gathered in Girard Park last night for a walk in honor of their loved ones who have lost their lives to drug overdose. The walk was held in conjunction with Millie Mattered Overdose and Addiction Advocacy. Participants carried banners with pictures of people that have been lost to overdose. The walk is part of the statewide Louisiana Drug Epidemic Awareness Walks happening throughout the state. A push is in effect to make Highway 167 safer for drivers. As News 10's Rodrika Taylor reports, a North Vermilion High School student is advocating for her friend who passed away earlier this year on the highway.
Emma Hebert is a student here at North Vermilion High School. She continues the push for a safer Highway 167 as she conducts her paper survey to remember her best friend, Ramsey Baumgartner.
She was one of my best friends for a long time. She made me come out of my shell a lot. I was very quiet and not really outgoing, and she is the most outgoing person you will ever meet, I promise you.
Ramsey Baumgartner passed away earlier this year. State police say she was traveling south on Highway 167 when a northbound vehicle in her lane hit her car head on.
The biggest issue that I'm advocating for is that lighting is needed down 167, and there's a lot of reasons why it's needed. I mean, the drunk drivers, it's horrible down there. And also, it's uneven, the roadways.
After she attended a police jury meeting about adding lights on Highway 167, she was motivated to write about change.
I was kind of upset because I felt like it was just kind of people going back and forth instead of things actually happening, and my dad mentioned writing a letter.
Therefore, she did. Hebert said she posted a survey online where over 1,000 people have already participated. Part of her survey question is, do people feel safe driving on Highway 167 at night?
1,081 respondents said no, so that's 94.7%.
Hebert's teacher says other students can learn a lesson from Emma and her paper.
There is great power in words, especially power in words when it's personal, and power in your words even if you're just a high school student.
Hebert is scheduled to finish her survey next Wednesday. Once finished, she is sending it to the State Senate and Representative, as well as the head of the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development. Rodrika Taylor, KLFY, News 10.
Acadiana, the entire nation looked to St. Landry Parish as the vice president went there to launch a federal broadband expansion. But other areas in Acadiana are also benefiting from the high-speed internet grants. News 10's Zil Zarang has that.
If we don't take advantage of it now, it's never going to be like this again.
Billions of dollars are being invested by federal and state governments to connect every part of the country with the fastest possible connections, which right now is fiber optics.
We're literally placing small strands of glass in the ground that light will be able to travel across. You know, it's future-proof. There's no theoretical limit of how much bandwidth can actually go across it. Right now we offer up to 10 gigabits per second to the house, which is the fastest in the world.
And thanks to American Rescue Plan funding, the fastest speed in the world will extend from the heart of Acadiana to its edges.
Through Dusson, Church Point, Basile, Eunice, all the way up to Ville Platte, which has the 5th slowest speeds in the nation right now.
LUS Fiber says each home within 500 to 1,000 feet of that path they hope to service as well, so everyone can have the same opportunities to attract big businesses and work from home.
This is transformative. You know, some of these areas, they can't even run credit card machines. Other regions, their 911 center goes down. So it's not that it's slow speeds, it's not even available at times. All these areas that have been asking for this for years and years, we had an opportunity to be able to step up with these grants and these partnerships to help serve them.
That was Neil Zarang reporting there. Like many industries, through the pandemic, supply chain issues, in particular with resin, have slowed broadband expansion. MASH expects once work starts on expanding broadband to Ville Platte, it will finish within 1 year. Congressman Steve Scalise toured the Irby tornado damage Friday and spoke with people about their struggles to recover there. Earlier this week, Governor John Bel Edwards and U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy also took a tour of the area. Just as they noticed, Scalise says he's amazed by the positive spirit of the people there. Scalise also says he's been talking with FEMA about how it can help with the recovery, but gave no specifics.
We're talking with FEMA. They're looking at, what kind of things we would qualify for. In the meantime, the state's already offered a lot of immediate help using some other federal dollars that were available too. And, everybody's pulling together, and they were already out cleaning up and doing the debris removal.
Scalise also says homeowners are in good spirits despite all the challenges and uncertainty. Checking in with Trevor Songye, and let's talk about certainty. Good weather today.
Yeah, that's pretty much a certainty. Mostly sunny skies and highs in the upper 70s, and the nice weather continues through tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at temperatures. Firstly, we're sitting in the upper 40s this morning, 49 in Lafayette, 47 in New Iberia, 46 degrees coming in Baton Rouge. Now, satellite radar shows no clouds around, mostly sunny skies. And that will continue through the day today. Zooming on out, we do have an upper level feature that's still spinning here, producing some snow across the Ohio River Valley, but looking off to the west here, not too much going on. You really don't see a lot of storm systems coming down the pipeline, and that's why the weather is going to be great for today and most likely through Monday and Tuesday as well. Now, temperatures rising through the 50s and 60s, highs in the upper 70s later on this afternoon. Future Track shows those sunny skies. That will allow temperatures to warm quickly. For tonight, temperatures still dropping into the lower 50s, so it will be cool, but not cold out there. And then for tomorrow, the sunshine will continue, and temperatures will be warming up even further as south winds really begin to come in through the next few days. So we're in the upper 40s this morning. Near 80 degrees potentially later this afternoon. I'll say somewhere in the upper 70s, falling back into the lower 50s for tonight. And then tomorrow, 80s showing up on the board, and we'll definitely see the 80s, it looks like, for Monday and Tuesday. As a ridge of high pressure will be working into the area, temperatures will definitely be rising and feeling more spring-like. Southwesterly winds coming in later today at around 8 to 16 miles per hour, and we'll keep the southwesterly winds into forecast through tomorrow as well. So here's that trough moving out that we were just showing across the Ohio River Valley, and here's this ridge of high pressure. This will be coming in through the next few days, leading to sunshine, but also warmer temperatures. We could definitely be in the 80s across Texas, maybe even upper 80s, and low to mid 80s possible for Acadiana Monday and Tuesday of next week. And then here's our next storm system coming in. Notice winds increasing in the atmosphere once again, southwesterly flow, so we could see another round of storms, maybe some stronger storms on Wednesday. That's something we'll be paying attention to. It's still too early to know details, but it looks like this low pressure will begin to get going to our north, and a system will be working through the area for Wednesday. So that'll give us our next rain chance. 78 year high today, mostly sunny and warm. A southwest wind at 8 to 16 miles per hour. 7-day forecast has fantastic weather for tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, especially if you like warm weather, because we'll be in the 80s, 80 degrees for tomorrow, 82 Wednesday, 83 on Tuesday, and then those storms rolling in on Wednesday, 60% chance of that, and 80s even Thursday and Friday behind that system. So that right there is definitely a spring type of 7-day forecast.